Hi, this is problem 12A that starts on page 28. So I'm going to go through those transactions A through K, again doing them fairly rapidly, knowing that you can pause at any time to catch up with me when you do your writing. So this is a company in March. The owner is T. Camus, MD, established a Camus Sports Injury Clinic, and they have the cash account, office equipment, which is generic to any office, professional equipment that would be particular to his type of business, an accounts payable where you keep track of how much you owe people, the capital account, which is used for when the owner invests in his or her company, revenue is for when sales are made, and expenses are when you spend money for things like rent and supplies and salaries, etc. So in transaction A, the owner deposited $25,000 in a bank account in the name of the business. So that means the cash in the company is going up. And when that happens, it's going to be a plus to cash. And also, anytime there's an investment, it's a plus to capital. So remember, the yellow is showing the middle of the equation, so the left side equals the right side. Going on to letter B, we paid the rent for the month, $1,100. Wrote a check to do that. When you write a check, your cash is going down, so it's a minus to that. And rent is an expense, so we're going to go over to the expense column. When you enter expenses, they're going to be pluses, so it's a plus to rent expense. Remember that even though we're subtracting on the left side of the equation, and we have a plus over here, anything in this last column will be a minus to the right side of the equation. Looking at letter C, we bought supplies on account for $1,170. We're buying supplies. Supplies is an expense, and so that is going to be going up. Now we're buying them not with our cash, but we're buying them and we're going to pay for them later. So we have to go to accounts payable, and now that account, how much we owe, has increased by $1,170. Now, even though there are two pluses on the right side of the equation and nothing on the left, remember that this plus is going to be balanced off by a minus in this expense column. So we're still in balance. Looking at letter D, we bought professional equipment on account for $5,800. So no cash is involved. Professional equipment is increasing. Before there was none recorded, now it's going to be going up by $5,800. And because we're buying something on account, we have to pay for it later. So it's going into accounts payable, and that will increase the amount that we owe. So we have a plus on the left and a plus on the right. So our equation is in balance. Looking at letter E, we bought office equipment on account for $864. Again, we have not spent any money. So office equipment this time is increasing. So it's a plus $864. And because it's on account, again, it's going into accounts payable as an increase. So here's a plus on the left and a plus on the right to keep us in balance. And letter F, we sold professional services for cash. So we made cash sales. Our cash, therefore, is getting bigger. And we've made a sale, so it needs to go into our revenue account because that's where we record our sales. So our cash is a plus, our revenue is a plus because it's going up. And letter G, we paid on account to Norman Company, a creditor, $1,850, and we wrote a check. When you write a check, your amount of your cash is going down, so that's a minus to cash. And we're paying on a bill that we owe. So when we owe bills, it goes into accounts payable. When you make a payment to that bill, it's going to make the balance of your bill decrease. So here's a minus to cash and also a minus to accounts payable. So we're still in balance. Looking at letter H, we received and we paid the bill for utilities, and we wrote a check. Again, when you write a check in letter H, our cash is going to go down by that amount. And we spent it for utilities, and utilities is an expense, and anytime you record an expense, it's going to go up, so a plus. But what's going to happen to this column? This whole column is subtracted from the right side of the equation. So we're in balance. Looking at letter I, we paid the salary of the assistant for $1,150 and we wrote a check to do that. Cash is going down because we wrote a check. Now this is for salaries. Salaries represent an expense, and when you record an expense, they're going to get bigger. Okay? But we're still in balance because that represents a minus. Looking at letter J, we sold professional services for cash for $3,800. So cash sales will make our cash increase. So it's a plus to cash. And we have made a sale. So we go to where we record our sales, which is the revenue account. And our revenue is going up. So we have a plus on the left, a plus on the right. Looking at letter K, the owner withdrew cash for personal use. They cannot pay themselves a salary. It's considered a draw, just like when you go to the bank and you draw money out of your account. Because we're writing a check, our cash is decreasing, so it's a minus there. And for right now, there's no drawing account listed up here. So we're going to tuck it in capital and show it as a decrease and actually label it as drawing. Now at this point you would total up all of your columns. If you do, it should come out with these balances. Then what we do is we add up all the balances on the left-hand side of the equation, and that is $34,202. Then we go over here, and what we're going to do is add the liabilities plus the capital plus the revenue, and we're going to subtract the expenses. When we do that, we're going to come up with the same number. And this concludes this exercise.